Hi everyone, and welcome to week 1 of our Weight Loss SmackDown. This is the clean eating module, and this week is the week where we are going to have the obligatory, albeit necessary, chat about what you would routinely expect to talk about in a weight loss program. We are going to be talking about diet, exercise, clean eating, and a few other tools that will aid in the body relationship goals that you're setting for yourself. Now, this will be the only week that we cover such topics in this particular program because our focus is mainly on the tools and the inner work that help you to be successful in this very area. This is the subject, though, that like 90% of all diets and cleanses and programs and protocols that are out there focus on. But in my experience, while focusing on, only on the diet and exercise area can absolutely pave the way for success and can allow the body to heal, can allow the mind to clear and give fabulous results most of the time, it really is more of a surface level cause of body weight retention and our mentality and emotions around relationships with our own body. Now, I get that the statement that diet and exercise is a surface level cause and solution to weight is something that totally goes against everything that we see and hear in the media, magazines, and online today. The truth is, we want instant results. We want to see change now. We want the magic pill. Well, guess what? There's not one. If there was a magic pill for permanent change, we would all be taking it. Instead, there are so many pills, potions, tonics, and lotions out there, and they all claim to be your quintessential magic pill. They all claim to melt fat, give you that bikini body, or drop 30 pounds effortlessly and easily, no pain, no self-denial, all bliss and beauty. But many times we even know that the results are fleeting or temporary, or even that a diet or protocol could pose a risk to our health, and we do it anyway. You know why? Because anywhere is better than where we are today. We will risk the rubber band effect of bouncing back to the weight we are now, back and forth, or even to a heavier weight if we can just ease the suffering that we are in right now. We will settle for temporary results, for the hope of relief, for the hope of change even, just change, just any type of change. Because being stuck where we are is worse than anything else we can imagine right now. It sucks our energy, it consumes our thoughts, it greets us every single time we look in the mirror. It is in our face every time we get dressed. And being at such odds with and harboring such unhappiness with our bodies while we live in these bodies can literally sear into our very soul. It is spirit crushing. And so we will try anything. Or on the flip side, we'll try nothing. We do nothing. We keep going on like we're going and keep getting the same results that we are getting and have been getting. And in the meantime, life seems to move faster, our goals push out farther, and the energy that we waste trying to fix a symptom that never addresses the cause can never be called back. That energy is just gone. That time is gone. And so this week we are going to briefly cover the stuff really that you already know. This is the basics that I use for my clients in the clinic, the basics. And sometimes even depending on the goals of the client, these have to even be somewhat in place before I even take them on into private mentoring. So here you go. Here is the magic formula to solve all of your life's problems as well as deliver all of your dream body goals. You ready? All right, here you go. Drink lots of water. Eat lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Exercise and take your digestive enzymes. Now, don't we wish it was really all that easy? 4 easy steps and bam, goal achieved. And on some level, the steps I just named for weight loss really, it really is true. If you focused on only those 4 things and did it consistently every day, you would 100% see results. So why, if it is that easy, isn't it that easy? Well, if it were really that easy, then that means there would be one way for everyone. And if there were one way, there would be one way. But there's not one way. Everyone has a different journey. Every single one of you have a different physical starting point, different experiences that create our beliefs about ourselves, different soul callings and genetic predispositions, even just to name a few of the variables. For some, a seemingly healthy food may be toxic, while another food is literally just like a cross between rocket fuel and heaven food for the body. For one person, drinking, 3 quarts of carrot juice a day cures their non-curable autoimmune disease. And for another, when they start juicing 3 quarts of carrot juice a day, they end up with a full body of hives, depression, and all their hair falls out. Not that I'm picking on carrot juice, as that is the base of one of my very favorite juices. But that actually brings me to my first point of today's workshop. And that is that you are your best resource. I know that you want others to be able to tell you what to do and for you just to be able to follow it. Most people don't have the energy nor the inclination to start from scratch and to develop their own eating system. And so using what someone else has created and lays out for them is much easier, feels safer, and helps them get the immediate jump start that they're wanting. And that may be fine to get started, but you need to really get to know your body. You need to do the equivalent of taking basically a college level course on your own self, of your own body. No one outside of yourself can give you the answers that you seek. And you certainly can get ideas and inspiration, but that is about it. Literally, I'm telling you, the answers come from within, and they're always there. You need to make the connection, you do, that when you eat, for example, let's just say, when you eat a Hershey's candy bar, that 3 hours later you get very lethargic, you want to just lay down, and it takes 2 days before you even get any enthusiasm back. You need to make the connection between the Hershey's bar and those results. You need to make the connection that when you eat ketchup, that you pee all night long. You're frustrated right now that you're not sleeping well at night, and so during the night you get up to pee 1,000,000 times, but you need to make the connection that when you eat ketchup, this is the result you get. Sleepless nights with overactive bladder. You need to make the connection that when you eat watermelon, it literally makes you have road rage every time you get behind the wheel. You find yourself feeling aggressive and angry and short of tolerance for everyone around you. You need to be the one to figure out that when you did that diet a while back, you had that week that you had more energy than you could ever remember having, even though the diet didn't stick. What you need to pay attention to and really think about is, was it the foods you were eating while you were on the diet that gave you that clarity and energy? Or was it simply that the diet took you out of your normal eating routine and therefore away from something that is causing you not to feel good or to retain body weight? Listen, many times it's not what we're actually putting in our mouths that makes the difference. It is what we're leaving out. So here's my suggestion of how to kind of work these types of things out. One of the best ways to figure out what's going on with you is to do a food journal. But not just a regular self-shaming or tool for self-punishment type of food journal. That is absolutely not what I'm talking about. I would suggest that even for the entire course of this program, that you do keep a record of everything that you put in your mouth. But that is not where the power is going to come in for you. Your power is going to come in when you also include in your daily journal information about your emotions. What is your emotional state throughout the day? Include information about your body. What is your pain level? What's your energy level? Did you exercise? Were you exposed to any chemicals or a place that you don't normally go? What thoughts are looping through your mind? The goal of the journal is to give yourself information. You cannot connect the dots of your body based on memory alone. I'm telling you, there are way, way too many variables. But if you'll go through each day, almost as it happens, listing what you eat, listing what you're thinking about, listing how you feel. And in my journals, I actually have a rating system where, for my energy levels or pain levels or emotional levels, that I actually rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and so that I can look and see patterns. That way it's in black and white, it's on paper, and you can connect the dots, and you do have the way to actually mine that information. Because if you're normally pretty even-keeled, let's say, and then on one day you're depressed, or even the opposite, you're normally depressed and you find yourself uncharacteristically happy or feeling light, and you want more of that, then a food journal can help you go back and figure out what changed, what you did different, or what you can attribute that fluctuation in your emotions or physical body to. Because it's not always what you consumed the hour before. It can even be 3 or 4 days prior, and this can actually affect you for weeks or even a month at a time. I know it takes time and energy to keep up a food journal, and I know that we are all stressed and pressed to the limit. If you're in this course, then it is highly likely that this is not something that you have dedicated yourself to studying before. And so I just want to know, how has that been working out for you? How has it been working out that you try to create what actually works for you, for your unique and one-of-a-kind body, out of what you read in a magazine or a program that somebody else has put together of what worked for their body, or even what they studied in a book that theoretically would work for anyone? It hasn't worked for you because you are special. You are unique. You are you, and there's no other like you with your exact physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and energetic needs. It is worth the investment, almost at the expense of everything else in your life, for you to study you. It will change your life, and ultimately will give you back more time, more clarity, and more energy and happiness if you know what your body needs and how it responds to different things. You can't know that just from reading somebody else's book. You need to write your own book about you, basically, and study that. And you can do that with a food journal. It becomes the book of you. So you are your best resource. Use what you have been given and take the responsibility and the initiative to study you. Let go of dogmatic eating belief systems for just a moment and press in and see what really is going to work for you. We all have so many labels that we apply to ourselves and others. We love labels, as this really lends solidarity to our us versus them mentality, or our ideals of separateness that we seem to carry. But the truth is that in order to really get a diet and a lifestyle that's going to work for you, you will need to let go of everything that you think you know and everything that you associate with just for a moment, to be able to reframe that. You need to be able to separate from the perceived pain of change, how you think that people might react to you going into a different lifestyle or eating different, what you have time to do and what you don't have time to do, and even what your taste buds tell you. I personally, while I was on my own healing journey, have followed and gone by so many different labels around my dietary habits. I mean, for the first, 25 years of my life, I followed a standard American diet, or the SAD diet. I have done only elimination diets, been on a whole food only diet, been on the salicylate and amine diets, been a vegetarian, a vegan, both in diet and lifestyle practice, and a raw foodist, both on the gourmet and high carb, low fat ends of the spectrum, and several in between along the way, with hundreds of different types of cleanses and protocols for healing and body and detox. But for a time, I would encourage you to sit down and really think about what kind of eating style you are really in alignment with. What is in your heart? What is in harmony with you? I mean, You believe that eating meat is necessary or you won't get enough protein. You'll have some kind of mythical protein deficiency. You believe that if you cook your food that it actually poisons your body. Do you believe that if you don't liquefy most of your foods that you won't get the assimilation benefits? Do you believe that fruit is dangerous to you? Do you believe that foods that are processed and packaged are a necessary part of living in this day and age? Do you believe that organic foods are too expensive to buy? Do you believe that eating fruits and vegetables equates to, misery and just yucky overall foods? Well, you might be right in whatever your belief structure is, but you also may be keeping yourself rocking down a road that just isn't working for you. Let go of the labels and be open to something new if necessary. I know it can be scary to make a decision to totally change something about yourself that you know may very well rock the boat. And I get it, because living in the South with the traditional Southern cooking and deciding to go vegan or even more radical, raw vegan, is a big decision and totally rocks the societal boat. You may even personally be like, but I love my steak or barbecue or hamburgers, so I can't even consider this change. And you push it out of your mind. But if your heart and body crave the higher vibration associated with a plant-based diet, then you at least need to accept that that is what you're called to and begin looking at what the resistance is that you have. On the flip side, if you've read on the internet that a raw diet or a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet is the best thing, the solution to all the problems of the world, and definitely the solution to your personal problems, and you have been struggling to eat that way and experiencing emotional turmoil and, depression and just self-blame, I would also recommend that you sit back and really question if that label is for you. All of it, some of it, what parts of the particular diet or lifestyle that you identify with appeal to you and to your spirit. I would challenge you to think about the idea that many times when we begin to align ourselves with a particular diet or eating style or, label, if you will, that we're actually trying to align ourselves with the positive stories that we hear about that eating style. When we see somebody talking about their experiences with eating a certain way and we say, I want that, I want to look that way, I want to feel the way she's feeling, I want to be that way. And depending on what you hear and how you're exposed to any particular eating system is greatly going to affect your feelings of alignment with a particular belief structure around food. So, look at how you're eating now and options of where you want to go. Decide what type of lifestyle you want for yourself. Take your personality and your belief structures into account, but while trying to open yourself up for change. Stay fluid. At this point, you don't have to know all the answers or even have won the battle within yourself of how you want to eat. I just want to encourage you to let go of the ideals, the labels, and the clamped down visions that you have of how you see yourself eating, and take a second look from a standpoint of what is real for you. To give you a few ideas of dietary styles or lifestyles that you can consider, or even just do a little bit more research on, or just use as brainstorming points, I'm going to list kind of for you a couple of short, and this is completely not exhaustive, just some of the things that are first and foremost in my mind. Some current eating styles to think about. There's the whole food only diet, which is really like no processed foods, but could include meats or be plant-based. Gluten-free diet or all grain-free diet. Dairy-free diet. You've got the vegetarian diet. You got vegan diets, which is absolutely no animal products, and that includes things like eggs, butter, honey, no animal products. But the veganism really also runs over into lifestyle choices like clothing articles not being made out of animal products and material possessions not being made out of animal products. There's also gourmet raw food, which is typically a transition diet made up of raw, uncooked foods, but often is very elaborately prepared recipes and high amounts of nuts and fats. There's the low-fat raw vegan, which is high fruits and vegetables, low nuts and fats. Fruitarian diet, they've got like all kind of styles that are out there via books and groups and things like that, like the blood type diet, your rotation diets, your 7 allergen-free diets, your micro and macrobiotic diets, etc. I mean, you already know there's so many out there. Researching different styles can give you some guidelines, but as I said before, you are your best source of information. The most balanced and healing approach will be the one that your own body gives to you, not the one that you necessarily read in a book. This will not be a welcome statement to most people, but it is true nonetheless. Pretty much any food that you're addicted to or that you just have to have is not going to be good for you. I mean, you know that carbonated sodas and candies and sugar-filled cereals and things like that aren't good for you. But what about the person that literally craves something that society, deems as being healthy and good, like oatmeal every single day? What about the person that cannot start the day without a bagel and cream cheese? Or someone that just has to eat corn chips most days? Sometimes we don't even realize when our body has an addiction or where we are limiting our food intake to a certain number of foods because we're so busy giving in to those cravings and addictions and habits that we don't even know that they're there until we try to take them away. Anytime we self-limit to certain foods or tastes, that is going to be a red flag. For example, you have to have your cheese. You have to have your coffee. You have to have salt or ketchup or eat sugar right out of the bag. You have to eat potatoes every day, no matter what the form. So self-limiting in your diet can look like you only eat fast food or like you only eat 2 different dishes practically every single day. But self-limiting can also be where you require certain foods at certain intervals. And this can be trickier because sometimes we don't even realize it, especially like when those intervals can even be, a day apart. But our cravings tell us that we are having some type of reaction in the body. Whether it be like an IgG type of reaction, an intolerance, or something else altogether, we are having a reaction. Chemical or reaction levels in the body are maintained at a certain point as long as we keep consuming the offending food. When those levels begin to drop down, up kicks your craving or addiction or self-limiting to guarantee that you get those levels back up. This is absolutely one of the very true enemies of weight loss in adults. It is hard for us to even be honest with ourselves sometimes about what we crave or are addicted to, and even to the extent that that is, because we're so fearful of having to give it up. We don't want to give it up. We don't even want to think about that internal battle, the withdrawals that we know we're going to have, or what the alternative would be to not feeding our addiction. We're so clever. We are total masters at denial and justification. I mean, if everyone else can eat it or drink it, it must be just fine, right? If everybody else laughs about it, it's fine, right? If I only have a little bit, that's fine too, right? If it's generally accepted in society, that means I'm doing okay. Well, I mean, only if you want to keep getting the same results that you've been getting. If you want something different though, you're going to have to dig deep and do something different. You're going to have to rock the boat, even if that's your own internal boat. But don't worry, I mean, that is exactly what this SmackDown is here for. I'm going to give you the tools so that you can handle the big changes as we go forward in our program. For now though, I just want you to take a good, honest look at where you may self-limit or have food addictions or habits or foods that you just have to have. Be honest and make a list. Now you will be able to come back, and I want you to come back to this list later in the program and work on these areas with more confidence, clarity, and with the ability to actually do something about it. Those are the tools we're going to be learning in the weeks ahead. All right, so let's talk about exercise and body movement. I have to say it. You need to move your body every day, but you don't have to go for perfection. You don't have to actually go to a yoga class or a kickboxing class or do a whole entire DVD in your living room. You just have to move. You have to make the intention to do this. You have to set it as a priority. It has to become just like, I don't know, like brushing your teeth and your hair every single day. You move your body. Now, this can be as simple as walking down your driveway and back. Really. I mean, I'm being serious. It can be that simple, just down the driveway and back. And you may say and think in your mind, that's not enough. Saying you can count walking down your driveway as moving, that's just silly, or that's just stupid. It's not enough to make any difference in the body. I mean, I've got 65 pounds to lose. Walking down the driveway isn't going to help me. Yes, it is. It establishes a habit, a routine of actually thinking about movement and traveling, moving your body in a distance, about muscle function, however short of a time period it is. Even just walking down your driveway stimulates your mind. It breaks whatever rut you're in during your day or even in your life. If you don't usually walk down the driveway, then that is the perfect thing for you to start doing because there's no perceived failures associated with that activity. It gets your eyes off the TV or off the four walls in your house or your office and onto the horizon. And make sure you look out over the horizon. Even if it's, subconscious, reminds you that the world is bigger than just your daily routines. It reminds you that there are other movements that your body can do than just all of your chores, your work, your career, and your family functions that you do on a daily basis. So find something that you like and do it. Now you can work out harder several times a week, hire a trainer, take classes, or whatever you want, however often you want, but every single day you need to be intentional about moving your body. So think about some simple things. Keep them stupid simple. I mean, seriously, set yourself up for success. We look at it and we think and laugh about, walking down the driveway, that's so simple. But you know what? You can achieve that every day. How many minutes does it take for you to walk down your driveway? Set yourself up for success and start somewhere. I mean, how has it worked for all the programs, the exercise DVDs that you committed to, that you bought, that you did for a period of time? Maybe you completed the program, maybe you didn't. But things like walking down your driveway, that's right there for you. You need to get outside. As I said, look to the horizon, stimulate yourself, get yourself outside of your four walls. The goal here isn't necessarily to move so much that you're losing weight. I'm just saying start. Start somewhere. Doing something different. Start small, but preferably, if you can, in the fresh air. Start today and do it every single day. Expand and grow as you choose, but most of the time we get so gung-ho and so over the top that we fizzle out in a short period of time, and I don't want you to do that. The movement that I'm talking about here isn't a punishment. It isn't something else to stress you out or to make you feel overwhelmed or to tip you off your balance. It should be like getting massaged, something to look forward to, something that you're doing to minister to your own body. And it can be a whole hardcore class if you like that, or it can be just 7 minutes out of your day. It really is a ministry unto yourself. The other important part of this section on exercise is spinal support. We spend most of our times riding in cars or sitting on couches and chairs, just like the one I'm in now, that support our spines for us. Then we lay down on the couch or in bed and our spine is supported for us. Try to be conscious of supporting your own spine. Throughout the day, simply take over the support that you've been unconsciously giving over to your chair or your couch. Sit on the floor supporting your own spine or in a chair and support your own spine. Most people are surprised at just how weak they feel and for how little time they can actually support their own spine at a time. So another part of movement is spinal support and strengthening. Just like exercise or anything else, you have to work your way into it sometimes. So come up with a couple things you think you can do every day to move your body and begin today to create that habit of movement and strengthen and become conscious of your spine and take back your power of self-support. This will help your breathing, strengthen your stomach muscles, and most importantly, bring your focus back into your physical body instead of all the triggered thoughts and emotions that run through our heads throughout the day. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. What method of eating do I recommend for weight loss? Well, truly, I don't recommend anything for weight loss, as I believe that that is a symptom of an underlying cause. Granted, it is a visible symptom and always seems to be what we should focus on, but I don't necessarily believe that is so, because here's the thing. Your body, if you're holding on to any excess weight, and if you're in my course, I'm assuming that the large number of you are experiencing this to various degrees, but the weight that you're holding on to isn't filled with fluffy vitamins and fabulous minerals and other really fabulous good stuff that your body's just waiting to use up and just saving for an opportune time. No, what is stored in the tissues and the cells that we refer to as weight or fat or cellulite are toxins, foods, and other things that our body could not fully process, or meaning eliminate, when we took it in. Your body doesn't store up the good stuff, it uses it. Weight is the bad stuff. It is the reject that the body wasn't even able to send through the digestive system into the colon for elimination. It is the chemicals, preservatives, medications, dyes, and heavy metals, etc., etc. And I will tell you now, something that most people don't seem to think about. Your body, though, it's so unbelievably wise, and it is such a fine, fine creation. If your body could get rid of the toxins, it would. It wants to be clean. It wants to be in harmony. It wants to be balanced. It doesn't want to have toxins stored in the fatty layers around the organs. It doesn't want waste stored in the areas of least resistance in the body, like the belly, thighs, your booty, arms, your joints, and so forth. So if the body wants to get rid of weight or waste, why doesn't it? I mean, we want it to, right? It would solve all of our problems, right? The reason is that it can't, because if it could, it would have already done it. Now, in some cases, the body stores these toxins in the tissues in order to protect you, in order to help keep the bloodstream clean and the body clean, and will almost save or store the cellular waste until later, until such a time that the body burden or body toxicity level has gone down enough that the body can safely get rid of the toxins. And sometimes the body can't get rid of weight because it simply is a matter of us taking in more food or calories than we can burn or get rid of in a day. Therefore, the excess gets stored until such time that the body can process it. And sometimes we gain or retain weight, not because we're eating too much, but because what we're eating is very toxic to our unique body. In cases like this, it doesn't have anything to do with calories in and calories out. It has more to do with the fact that what we're taking in through our foods is throwing our already acidic and overtaxed bodies way over the line. And so the body has no choice but to store what it can, process what it can, and then try to expend what little energy it has left to try to balance and heal from the chronic damage that is occurring consistently on a daily basis, minute by minute and hour by hour. And all of this can happen with just as little as, I don't know, a cup of oats, a handful of a certain nut, a slice of cheese, or a tiny bit of salt or sugar intake. And it can be different for every person, but it's there nonetheless. So it may not be the whole solution, and as a matter of fact, it usually isn't, but I approach and believe in a diet that I term as simply clean eating. Clean eating is totally as simple as it sounds in some aspects, except if it was really that simple, everyone would do it. But it basically is just eating everything fresh or as close to fresh and in its natural state as possible. The next choice in line to fresh is frozen, but it doesn't include anything processed or basically anything out of a box, bag, or can. And of course, organic is always best if that's an option in your area. Yes, you have to plan ahead. Yes, you actually have to cook or prepare your food. Yes, you may have to grocery shop more often because the foods you're buying are actual real foods and aren't prepared in a facility and made to last on a shelf for 23 years before they go bad, if they ever really even do go bad. Listen, here's the thing. You are going to expend energy around food, and it is totally and completely your choice how you do that. You can expend your energy around buying and preparing good, clean, non-processed foods that your body actually recognizes and assimilates and eliminates easily, or you can expend your energy in dealing with the fallout of weight gain, mental and emotional instability, and sickness of the body. We look at food prep, planning, and buying as a huge time suck. But my goodness, how about doctor's visits, time we spend reading weight loss books, time and energy we spend dealing with our own inner self-talk, time we spend buying clothes that lay just right on our bodies to cover the areas, that we want covered, energy we spend hoping and searching for the next right thing to help us lose weight. Energy we spend on just wishing we would be well or that our bodies would heal. Energy that our body expends trying to get rid of all the supplements and medications that it has to process in dealing with the illnesses and ailments. Not to mention all the experiences in life that we miss out on, never to have the chance to repeat because we don't have the energy output or the emotional reserves and mental clarity to enjoy the opportunities that are before us. I mean, I know food isn't 100% of the whole entire answer, but that is a powerful energy exchange if you ask me. I personally would much rather pour myself out onto the positive and light side of prevention and preparing my foods than I would spending my energy trying to fight my way back from something that I don't want. And I can say that from experience because my story is a long story, travels down a harsh road, and a lot of it centers around food. So you have to keep focused on where do you want to spend your energy because you are going to spend it somewhere. Now, the number one thing that I and most people do when they start clean eating is to try to find cleaner replacements for their processed foods. Basically, what they're eating now, just maybe less processed. Or maybe a package that might say all natural on the outside because that means it's good for you, right? So this is still the shortcut magic pill mentality. Don't do that. You'll only end up prolonging your healing, get mediocre results, and in the end end up spending tons of money in the process. You want your number one rule in clean eating to be that the foods you eat are not processed. They're either fresh or fresh frozen. You're cutting out your processed foods and beverages and only putting in your mouth what you make yourself. This will flood your body with usable vitamins and minerals and easily digestible fibers. It will bring your consciousness into the foods that you're preparing and how they affect you, thereby helping you discern what foods are good for you. You have the opportunity when you do this to alter the energetics of the foods that you consume. Instead of you consuming the energetics of foods prepared by unhappy people, performing unhappy jobs, or cold mechanical environments, you can prepare fresh foods with the intention of nurturing love and abundance. Your taste buds will change rather quickly when you aren't taking in the chemical concoctions that the flavor chemists, and yes, that is an actual job title in the food industry now, have prepared for you and have successfully trained and tricked your taste buds to expect. The concept of clean eating, when applied, will also very quickly expose your addictions or intolerances. You'll quickly find out if you're craving chips, oats, cereals, salts, etc., or if you just have to have a certain food or item every day. Again, total red flag. The sooner you step away from those things your body can't and really isn't processing, that are causing your cells to be coated and filled with toxins and not to be able to efficiently uptake the vitamins and minerals that you're consuming, the sooner that your body can release those toxins, your cravings will cease to be a driving force and your body can truly begin the restoration and healing process.